In this video, we will solve the questions asked in UGC Net Economics paper of 2025. The first question is, if Q is equal to F of KL, that is output is a function of capital and labor, is a homogeneous production function of degree 1, which of the following satisfies the Euler's theorem? Okay, so we have Q, output is a function of capital and labor, and this function is homogeneous of degree 1. The options are, that is dq upon dk plus dq upon dl is equal to q, that is not correct. Second is dq upon dk, that is a partial derivative of this function with respect to capital times capital plus partial derivative of this function with respect to labor times labor is equal to q. This is correct. Why? Euler's theorem tells us that if each factor is rewarded according to their marginal product, total output will get exhausted. So del q upon del k, it denotes the marginal product of capital, and del q upon del l denotes the marginal product of labor. Okay, now del q upon del k, that is if we multiply marginal product of labor, rather capital, with the units of capital, and marginal product of labor with the units of labor, and when we add them, that means total output will get exhausted according to the Euler's theorem. Next question is, if the income effect is in opposite direction as the substitution effect, but the substitution effect dominates, then the good is, options are normal, inferior but not given, or there is not enough information to this answer. So the correct option is inferior but not given. Why? When the income effect and substitution effect work in opposite directions, the good is classified as inferior. We know it. If the substitution effect is stronger than the income effect, so then the good is considered inferior. We know also this. But for a good to be classified as given, the income effect must be so strong that it overcomes the substitution effect entirely, leading to an increase in the demand even as the price rise. So this statement is correct. The good is inferior but not given. Next question is, if both input and output markets are competitive and firms are profit maximizing, then in equilibrium each factor of production earns. Options are an amount equal to the price of the output times the total output. Then another option is the amount allocated by the political process. That's not correct. An equal share of the output. No, the value of it is marginal product, as we know that in case of perfect competition and according to Euler's theorem, factors of production are rewarded according to their marginal products. Next question is, which of the following game does not have any Nash equilibrium? First is Battle of Sexes game. We have solved them. There we got the Nash equilibrium. Stag hunt game. There also occurs the Nash equilibrium. But in case of what we call matching pennies game, there is no Nash equilibrium. Why? In matching pennies, two players simultaneously flip a coin and show their sides. If coin is matched, one player wins. If they mismatch, the other player chooses heads or tail. The other player can always choose the opposite side and win. This means there is no stable combination of strategies where neither player has an incentive rather to change their choices, making it a game with no Nash equilibrium. In case of prisoner's dilemma, we know there can be one Nash equilibrium or multiple Nash equilibria. Next question is, if utility is equal to x plus 2 times y plus 1 and price of good x is 4, price of good y is 6, and budget is 130, find the optimum levels of purchase of good x and y. So we have solved these questions. So here we what we want to do, we want to maximize utility is equal to x plus 2 times y plus 1 subject to the budget constraint that will be 4 price of good x is 4 times units of good x plus price of good y is 6 times units of good y should be equal to the income. So we solve it using the tangency condition, that is we equate the marginal rate of substitution between good x and y and set it equal to the ratio of the prices, price of good x upon price of good y. Okay, so solving this you will get the answer as x is equal to 16 and y is equal to 11. And I have solved these questions in earlier videos, you can check it out there. Here I cannot give a whole solution. Likewise, we have a question on if the demand law is, that is price is equal to under root of 9 minus x and demand is fixed at x naught is equal to 5, find the consumer surplus. So we have the demand function and we know that consumer surplus is equal to the definite integral from 0 to equilibrium quantity here, which is 5, and we integrate the demand function, that is 9 minus x raised power 1 upon 2 with respect to x. From this we subtract the total expenditure, that is p into x naught. To find out p, to find out the price, what we do, we plug x is equal to 5 here, that is 9 minus 5, we will get here under root 4 which is equal to 2. So p will be equal to 2 and x naught is 5. Solving this you will get the consumer surplus as 8 upon 3. I have shown it detailed how to solve it and how do we find out it, and graphically how do we find it. So if we have this kind of demand function, we have a non-linear demand function here. Let us suppose this is x naught which is equal to 5. So consumer surplus, if this is demand function, this is the price, so consumer surplus will be the area which is above the equilibrium price and below the demand curve. Okay, the area of this vary, and here we have to use the intervals. If it were a linear demand function, then we could have used the simple graphical method in solving this. So I have solved it, you can check it out. I will not able to give all the explanation to each of these questions, every question, so bear it with me. Next question is, assume that the rate of investment is described by a function, that is investment is a function of time which is equal to 12 raised power 1 upon 3 and capital stock k naught, initial capital stock is 25. Find the time path of the capital stock k. Okay, so we know that capital stock at time period t is actually the definite integral of the investment function, that is 12 t raised power 1 upon 3. Okay, so when we solve this, then we need to solve it. So after that we will get some capital stock. I don't have the space here. Then what we use to do, so we use the initial condition when k naught is equal to 25 and solve it for this to get the value of the constant when you solve this integral. Okay, so I have solved it. I will put these numericals at the end of this video. Okay, so I cannot solve it here. I have to use the tabletop videos on the marker board to solve them. Then we have next question, that is a company has estimated its costs and revenue structure and has determined the cost, that is total cost, or is the total revenue, and x the number of units produced, or related like this. So we have we have the cost function and revenue function. We need to find out the value of x that maximizes the profit of the company. So we know that we need to equate the marginal revenue with the marginal cost. So we have been given total revenue as 3x, so marginal revenue will be its derivative with respect to x. Okay, so derivative of this function with respect to x will be, so we have 3 will be equal to, what is marginal cost? The derivative of this function with respect to x. Derivative of a constant is 0, derivative of x square is 2x, so we will get 2 into 15, so we get 0 0.25 are 10, 0.03, x. Okay, so we equate marginal revenue with marginal cost, so we get 3 upon 100. X is equal to 3, then x will be equal to 100. So the profit maximizing level of output will be equal to 100 in this case. I have explained them in detail. You can check it out earlier videos. Then we have another question, that is, which of the following is not true? The effect of any tax can be decomposed into an income effect and substitution effect. That's true. There is substitution effect associated with lump sum tax, but no income effect. This is the false statement. Why? When a tax is imposed, it reduces the disposable income of the consumers, leading them to consume less of the goods overall. This is income effect. We know that. What about substitution effect? Substitution effect tells us that the substitution effect occurs when the relative prices like tax increase on one good relative to others lead consumers to substitute away from the taxed good towards other relatively cheaper goods. Since a lump sum tax does not change the relative prices, it does not trigger the substitution effect. Okay, so this is not true. So then the question is, lexicographic preference violates which of the following axioms of utility theory? So we have the transitivity axiom, convexity axiom, independence axiom. They are not violated by lexicographic preferences, but the continuity axiom states that if you have three outcomes, let us say A, B and C, such that A is preferred to B, A is preferred to B, and B is preferred to C, then there exists a probability, that is P, which lies between probability between 0 and 1, where an outcome of P probability of A, and that is P probability of A and 1 minus P probability of C is indifferent to B, that is, it is indifferent to B. In other words, you can find a mix of A and C that is equivalent in your preferences to B. In case of lexicographic preferences, however, prioritize one attribute, let us say quality, over all others. This means that even if the probability of getting a better outcome in gamble or in an outcome A is very small, if it involves a lower quality than another gamble, the lexicographic preferences will always choose the outcome A. So in nutshell, I cannot explain it beyond that very thing, but this axiom is obviously violated in case of the lexicographic preferences. Then the question is, which of the following are true pertaining to the problems of asymmetric information? Sellers can deal with the problem of asymmetric information by sending buyers signal about the quality of the product. Yes, that's true. If a seller of a product has better information about its quality than the buyer, then bad product tends to drive good products out of the market. That's true. According to efficiency wage theory, a wage lower than the competitive wage increases workers' productivity by discouraging workers from shrinking on a job. No, that's incorrect here. Adverse selection arises because of asymmetric information in insurance market. Yes, where we have the moral hazard problem. Then we have owners can avoid principal agent problem by designing contractors that give their agents incentive to perform better. So correct options are A, B, D and E. Only C option is incorrect. Then another question is, which of the following conditions are required for a set of consumers to exhibit parallel straight wealth expansion paths at any price factor P? Options are, the correct option is preferences admit indirect utility functions of the government form. This is correct, but I don't know what does this statement tell us. So, and B is preferences are heterogeneous. No. Wealth is equally distributed among all the consumers. No. All consumers have identical preferences that are homothetic. That is true. All consumers have the preferences that are quasi-linear with respect to the same good. That's also true. So A, D and E, A, D and E are correct here. Okay, so you can see that's being boxed with a red rectangle, the correct option. So I cannot solve give the explanation to all the questions, but I will just show the questions here. Which of the following are true regarding to the outcome of the consumer's optimal processes? Options are given. The marginal utility per rupee spent on each good is same. That is true. Second option is the marginal rate of substitution between the goods is equal to the ratio of the prices between the goods. There we know it. That is the condition of the tangency condition, what we call. Like this, we have the indifference, rather budget line and indifference curve. So at this point, this occurs where MRS, that is marginal rate of substitution between good, let us say A and B, is equal to the ratio of the prices of good A and price of good B. Then we have C option is, and the consumers reach the highest indifference curve in the indifference map. Reaches the highest indifference curve in the indifference curve map. Yes, but that should be constrained with the budget. So this is not correct. D is the consumer indifference curve is tangent to his or her budget line. That's true. We know it. From utility point of view, consumer is indifferent between any 2 points on his budget line. No. He is indifferent between any 2 points on the same indifference curve, but not on his or her budget line. So this is incorrect. So A, B and D are correct here. So next question is, which of the following statements are true about the above payoff matrix, where you have player 1 which has 3 strategies, T, M, B, and player 2 has 2 strategies, left and right. Okay, so question tells us statements are, player 1 has 2 strictly dominated strategies. So let us say player 1 has 3 strategies, top, middle and bottom. It has 2 strictly dominated strategies. So how do we check? So we see across the columns here, since 2 is greater than 1, 3 is also greater than 1, so middle and bottom dominates the top. So it has 2 dominant strategies. None of the strategies of player 2 are weakly dominated. No, this is incorrect. Strategy T weakly dominates strategy B. So I cannot see it here. It needs a lot of time to understand it first, then I can give the answer here. But first one is correct. Strategy M strictly dominates strategy T. Yes, here you can see 2 is greater than 1, 1 is greater than 0. So they are strategy that's middle is dominated, rather dominates the top strategy. So A, D and E, A, D and E are the correct options. Then we have matching type questions. So we have playing each strategy with probability, so it is mixed strategy, then we have maximum payoff given the strategy of others, so this is the best response function, we know it in case of reaction functions. Then we have long run behavior, so this is grim trigger strategy. Then period of punishment is infinite, so D is so I have done a mismatch here. So for A we have fourth option, for B we have third option, for C we have Nash long run behavior, and period of punishment is infinite, that is grim trigger strategy. So these questions are related to game theory. The next question is income elasticity is greater than 1. It is in case of the luxurious items or goods. Then we have positive cross price elasticity, so it is in case of the substitute goods. Then we have downward sloping price consumption curve, so it is relative elastic demand. Then negative income effect, it occurs in the inferior goods. Options are also given in the Then we have another question. The questions are from the macroeconomics. The question is, in the context of the classical economies, an increase in the money supply causes. Options are a shift in aggregate demand to the right. So I will only speak the correct options here. Then we have another question, that is, if the value of Keynesian multiplier is 4, which of the following will be the corresponding savings function? So if Keynesian multiplier is 4, so savings function should be, so we should get the multiplier as K is equal to 1 divided by MPS. It should be equal to 4. Okay, so let us see here, we have 0.4, so we have 1 divided by 0.4, so it is 10 upon 4. So 10 upon 4 is not equal to 4, so this is incorrect. 0.75, 0.75, 1 divided by 0.75, so this will not be equal to 4. Then we have 0.25, 1 divided by 0.25, so it is equal to 4. So the correct option should be third option. Then we have the question, which of the following causes positive output gap, where output gap is equal to actual output minus potential output. The correct option is our employment of factors of production. Then we have, in the context of the ISLM model, a higher marginal propensity to spend results in a steeper aggregate demand curve and consequently a flatter IS curve. Then we have the questions. So all the mathematical questions, I will put them to the end of this video, so bear with me. Then the question is, if marginal propensity to consume is 0.8 and initial increase in tax revenue by government is 100 rupees, then the impact on the national income will be. So we have MPC is equal to 0.8 and change in the taxes is equal to 100. We are supposed to find out the change in the income. So we have the tax multiplier, which tells us the change in the income due to the change in the taxes will be equal to minus MPC upon 1 minus MPC. Okay, change in income, we are supposed to find out change in the taxes, that is 100. Solving this, you will get this answer. I have solved them, so you can check them whenever you want on this channel. Then we have another question, which of the following is likely to lead to a rise in the output cost of disinflation? So the options are given. The correct option is sluggish response of wages and prices to monetary contraction. Then we have Next question. According to Lucas critic, the stability of coefficients of model are important for policy predictions. That is the correct option here. Then arrange the following works of J.M. Keynes in chronological order, starting from the oldest to latest. So oldest is the Indian Currency and Finance. Then we have a tract on monetary reform. Then we have option A. Then we have option B. Okay, so here options are also being given and correct option is also given. Then we have, according to classical economics, an increase in the government deficit spending leads to, options are a shift in the demand for loanable funds to the right, that is true. A decline in interest rate, no. Increase in investment, no. Increase in savings equal to decline in consumption, that is true. Decrease in investment and consumption, that balances the increase in government spending, that is true. So options are given here. Which are the following are the effects of increase in government spending in ISLM framework in a closed economy? Options are, which are the following are the effects of increase in the government spending. So what happens when government spending increases in the closed economy? Increase in income by a multiplier times government expenditure. Then B, shift in the IS curve to right, leading to disequilibrium in money market at a given level of interest, that's true. C, quantity of demand for money will be a higher, that is true. So in the case of ISLM model, what happens in government spending, if it increases, so IS curve will shift. So then private investment will increase, leading to increase in the aggregate demand. No, that's not true. So options are A, B and C, but let us draw it here. So that if we have the IS curve, then we have LM curve. Oh sorry, we have to, that is interest rate will decrease. No, it is incorrect, it will increase here with the government spending. So options are A, B and C, they are correct. Then the question is, which are the following are not an assumption of policy ineffectiveness propositions? Options are being given. Correct options are B and D, that means policy changes are not anticipated. Okay, so then nominal variables influence economic decisions, no. Option B is incorrect. Why? Because policy changes are anticipated by the consumers, and nominal variables influence economic decisions, no. Real variables influence the economic decisions. Rational expectation, that is correct. And economic agents have full information. Obviously, if they have full information, government cannot fool them by announcing a policy. Okay. Output and employment are at their natural level, that is true. So incorrect option are B and D. Then the question is matching type question. So we have paradox of thrift, it is related to J.M. Keynes, we know that. Then water diamond paradox, that was given by Adam Smith. Then we have wage employment paradox, that was given by A.C. Pigot rather. Then we have macroeconomic paradox, and that was given by K. Boulding. Then we have the question, if u is equal to 6x square plus y square and 4x minus y is equal to 1, what is the value of u? Okay, so first thing is that u does not mean here utility. Then the question would have been to find out the optimal or maximum value of u, utility. So it is not like maximize u is equal to 6x square plus y square subject to the budget constraint 4x minus y is equal to 1. This is not the question like this, because here the price of good y is negative, 4 denotes the price of good x, negative 1 denotes the price of good y, so prices cannot be negative, so this is not to be solved like this. I have solved it, and I will put this question at the end of this video. Then the question was to integrate x plus 3 upon x plus 5 with respect to x, so it will be like this. So we have x plus 5 minus 2 divided by x plus 5 dx. So we will get x plus 5 divided by x plus 5 dx. Then we have minus minus 2 upon x plus 5. Solving further, so this gets cancelled. Here we will get no, I solved it incorrectly, so we will get, so I have solved it in detail, you can check it out. I don't have the space here, so it should be like this. So we need to, so we should get, we have x plus 5, okay, minus 2 divided by x plus 5. Okay, so this is correct now. So we have x plus 5 upon x plus 5 dx, and then we have minus 2 divided by x plus 5. So this gets cancelled, so the derivative of 1 is x, so we will, sorry, the integral of x is, rather integral of 1 is x, then we get minus twice the integral of 1 upon x plus 5, it is ln of x plus 5. So the correct option should be fourth option. Okay, then the question is evaluate the definite integral from 1 to 2 of e raised power minus 2x dx. I have solved these questions in detail, you can check it out on this channel. So it will be like this: the derivative of e raised power minus 2x is actually e raised power minus 2x divided by the coefficient of the exponent, which is minus 2, and we evaluate it from 1 to 2. Okay, solving, you will get this answer. So I will put those questions on the end of this video, or I already uploaded them, I am not sure. Then match the following. We have the definite integral from 0 to infinity 1 upon x square dx, so it will be equal to pi upon 2. I have not solved these type of questions, so in near future I will try to solve them. Then b, this goes with this. Okay, so I will not give much time to this question here. Then the question is the management of the manufacturing firm wishes to determine the average time required to complete a certain manual operation. There should be 0.95 confidence that the error in the estimate will not exceed 2 minutes. What sample size is estimated by a time and motion study expert as 16 minutes? So I don't know how to solve this question, so correct option is being given as 246. So let us put it like this. Then the question is related to the, if x is a Poisson variate with mean lambda, Then probability of x plus 1 is, so we know that in Poisson distribution, if p of x is being given by e raised power minus lambda rather, then lambda x upon the factorial of x. Okay, it is like this, I guess. I cannot recall it. Then probability, in place of x we have x plus 1, then we need to replace x by x plus 1, so we will get this this option. Okay, I have solved it. I cannot remember this time, but I have solved it. The question is, a candidate is selected for an interview for 3 posts. For the first post there are 3 candidates, for the second there are 4, and for the third there are 2 candidates. What is the probability that the candidate is selected for at least 1 post? I have explained this video. I will put that very video, rather all the mathematical economics questions on this video. At the end of this video you can check them out, so I don't have the time and space here. Then this question, the data about the sales and advertisement expenditure of a firm is given as says mean sales is 40 crore and mean advertisement expenditure is 6 crores. Coefficient of correlation is 0.9, and also we are being given the standard deviation of the sales is 10 crores and for the advertisement expenditure it is 1.5 crores. Estimate the likely sales for the proposed advertisement of rupees 10 crores. I have solved this question. Do check it out on this video. Then the question is, which of the following are correct in case of normal distribution? Mu3 for normal distribution is 0. That is, I guess, mu3 shows us a skewness here. So for this, mu3 is equal to 0. That is true. Beta 2 for normal distribution is 0. I don't know what is beta 2 its value this time. So the correct options are A, C and E. A is correct, A is correct, C is correct, and characteristic function of normal distribution is this. I have not gone beyond the binomial and normal distribution, but I have not given much time for the moment generating functions or the characteristics functions for the normal distributions. And then I will try to improve the statistics portion. Okay, so we have the question from the moment generating functions. By using the uniqueness property of moment generating function, which of the followings are character distributions if the moment generating function is as follows? So options are B, C and D. B is correct, C is correct, and D is correct. Okay, I have not given a time for statistics, so definitely in the coming videos I will give some time for the statistics portion also to explain them in detail. Then we have the question beta 2 for chi-square distribution, 12 upon n, so I cannot solve it or explain it here. Then we have the question, the mean of hypergeometric distribution function, it is equal to nm upon n. So these are the matching type questions, and obviously this time the questions were absolutely out of box here. The questions are very lengthy and very hard to comprehend here. Not hard, but it takes time to analyze each option. So we have the another question, bootstrapping technique is used to option is obtain the sample distribution of parameters of interest. So we will go fast now. So according to Gregner and Newsbold, a rule of thumb to suspect that the estimated regression is spurious is given by high R square and low Durbin-Watson D value. That is correct option. Then another question is the indirect least square is applied to estimate the coefficient of structural equations. This is correct option. Then the question is related to if the mean of x is 32, mean of y is 38, regression coefficient b of b x on y is this and b y on x is this. Find the equation of line of regression on y on x. So y on x, so we don't need this very thing here, so we need to find y minus the mean of y should be equal to byx times x minus mean of x. Okay, solving this you will get this very. I have solved it and you can check it out also. Then we have another question. The null hypothesis that all slope coefficients are simultaneously equal to 0 is tested in a Logit model by, that is, likelihood ratio statistics. The next question is the Stopler-Samuelson theorem postulates that an increase in the relative price of the commodity raises the earnings of the factor used relatively intensively in the production of the commodity. That is true. Then the question is related to what we call rate of effective production. So it is correct formula is this, that is rate of effective production is equal to the nominal tariff on the consumers of the final commodity. So this very thing is correct. Next question is, in the product cycle model of the international trade, in which stage the imitating country starts underselling the innovating country in third markets? Option is stage 4th. Then the question is, arrange the following rounds in chronological order starting from the oldest. So we have millennium round of trade negotiations, then Doha, Uruguay, Kennedy and Tokyo. So correct option is, first we have Kennedy round. So Kennedy round, then it was Tokyo round, then it was Uruguay round, then it was millennium round of trade negotiations, and then it was Doha round. So next question is, which of the following indicate country B is capital abundant country? That is the total capital upon total labor in country B, if it is greater than total capital upon total labor, that is the capital labor ratio in country B, if it is greater than the capital labor ratio in country A, so we say it is capital abundant country. C option is price of capital upon price of labor. If it is yes, this is also correct here, because if we have cheap capital relative to labor in country B, then we say this is capital abundant country. So A and C are correct. Then next question is, which of the following comprises the current account of the balance of payments? So invisible exports and imports, yes, they constitute the current account. Unilateral transfers, yes. Direct investment, SDR allocations, borrowings from other countries, they are of the capital account component. Then we have this question related to what we call matching type question. So we have specific factor model. It was given by Paul Samuelson and Ronald Jones. Emerging growth, this goes to J. Bhagwati. Then we have mercantilism theory of international trade. So this is Thomas Munn. secular deterioration of terms of trade. So it is Prebisch-Singer hypothesis. Then there are matching type questions. Income induced adjustment process of balance of payment. So it was given by Keynes. Absorption approach of balance of payments. So it is Sidney A. Alexander. Then we have impossible trinity. It was given by Mundell Fleming. Then factor price equalization. So it is Paul Samuelson, we know it. Then the question is match the following physical dominance. So options are given, you can check out the options. Then the questions are according to the neoclassical theory of growth, an increase in the savings rate, it decreases the long run level of capital and output per head. Next question is the idea of constructing poverty weighted indices of the growth is to give at least equal weight to all income groups in the society. Then the question is which of the following is not correct about Harrod-Domar model of economic growth? G can be greater than Gn in the long run. That means actual growth rate can be greater than natural growth rate. So this cannot be correct here. So the natural growth rate is made up of growth of labor force and labor productivity. If the actual growth is greater than warranted growth rate, G can continue to diverge from GW only until it hits natural growth rate. Full employment of labor and capital requires that this condition must hold, that is the natural rate is equal to the potential growth, which should be equal to the actual growth rate, what we call the knife edge problem. Then the question is arrange the following publications in chronological order starting from the oldest to the latest. So A, B, E. So first is A, then B, then we have E, then C, and then D. So I cannot, you can check it out by yourself the correct option. The next question is in the context of the neoclassical growth model, the effects of an increase in the population growth rate. Options are reduction in steady state level of capital per head, that is correct. Increase in per capita output, no. Increase in steady state rate of growth of aggregate output. So I cannot see. A and D are, I guess, they are the opposite answers to each. Reduction in steady state level of capital per head, increase in steady state rate of growth of aggregate output. So I have to see this, I cannot give the answer. So you can check, and the correct options are A and C only. Then the questions are arrange the following countries based on the market as capitalization to nominal GDP ratio. So options are D, C, A, B, E. So first is Brazil, then China, then UK, then India, and then Japan. According to Rostow, an industry can play the role of leading sector in the take-off stage provided the following conditions are met. Options are A, B, C, and D. And the market for the product is expanding rapidly. The leading sectors generate secondary expansion. The sector that has adequate and nominal continual supply of capital from plowed back profits. Introduction of new techniques into the sector to increase productivity. Change in industrial structure should be structural one. No. A, B, C, and D are the correct options. Then we have the matching type questions here. Okay, so Kaldor's first law of growth it is this. Ochn's law, we know that, so you can check it out by yourself also. Then the questions on tax public finance are: which of the following is not true according to the classical views on the public debt? Public debt finance supports compensationary budget policy as a tool for stimulating aggregate demand. Is not true. Okay, so this cannot be true here. Public debt financing requires funds for interest payments and amortization, hence a double burden on the taxpayers. That's true. Public debt creates barren production and consumption, and burden is transferred to future generation. That's true. Public debt destroys capital which otherwise could be used productively. So 1, 3 and 4 are correct, so this is incorrect here. Then the question is on the tax reform committees, and you have to arrange them in chronological order starting from the oldest. So oldest is Raja Chela Tax Reform Committee, then came K.L. Rekhi's Committee on Indirect Tax, then T.R. Rastogi Committee on Service Tax Reforms, then it is Shom Committee on Direct Tax, then it is B, and then it is K.L. Rekhi Committee. So options are given, you can check them by yourself. Then next question is: which of the following are not true pertaining to Wagner's law of increasing state activities? D and E are not correct, so these two are not correct. A, B and C are correct. Wagner's law is classified as positive theory of public expenditure. That is true. Public sector in the industrializing nations grow as the proportion of total economic activity with an increase in per capita output and income. That's true. Proportionate increase in public sector is not constant but increasing with the increase in total economic activity. That's true. The law accounts for the effect of war on the public expenditure. No, it has no relevance with that. Public expenditure tends to grow in the stepwise. No, it is from the Peacock-Wiseman theory. So this D and E are incorrect. Next question is: arrange the following chairman of finance commissioners in order of their appointment starting from the oldest. So these are the chairmen, and D, C, E, A, B. Okay, so D, then we have K. Brahmana Reddy, then we have N.K.P. Salve, then K.C. Pant, then it was A.M. Khusro, and then C. Rangarajan. Now, next question is: which of the following is true in case of good? That is crowded city sidewalk. So it is non-excludable but rival in nature, because if it is crowded city, there are so many people, so we cannot exclude anyone. But if another person wants to enter into the crowded city walk, so it will be rival in nature. It is non-excludable and non-rival in nature. No, it is excludable but non-rival. So it is non-excludable but rival, because of the limited. There will be rivalry in the sense, because crowded city walk. So it is the question from public goods. Not public goods, a good which is crowded city sidewalk. Okay, so correct option is: it is non-excludable but rival in nature. If it is excludable and rival in nature, it would have been the private good. So it is not private. It is excludable but non-rival in nature, then it was public good. So neither it is private good or public good here. Then another question is, which of the following statements best define property rights? So property rights are the legally enforced rights to determine how a resource is used, owned, and transferred. That's true. The next question is, arrange the following environmental conventions submitted in sequence starting from the oldest. So oldest it was Rio Summit, then it was Kyoto Protocol, then it was Stockholm Convention, then it was UN Red, then it is Minamata Convention. Then the question is, which of the following are true in case of externality? In case of externality, all costs and benefits associated with the goods are not internalized by the households and firms involving in buying and production. Yes, that is true. Presence of externality results either underproduction or overproduction of good. Okay, so underproduction and overproduction occurs when externality arises. C is market-based decision making yield an efficient outcome in presence of externality. No, government regulations make the efficient outcome, like giving PIGO subsidy or taxes. Then we have option, in case of negative externality, the marginal social cost is higher than marginal cost. Yes, that is true. Well-defined property rights can solve the problem of externality. That's also true. The next question is, which of the following statements correctly describe the concept of efficiency in environmental economics? A, C, and E are correct. A, C, and E. I don't have the time to go through the options. Then matching type question is, inverted U hypothesis. It was given by Simon Kuznets. Then we have B, sustainable development. It was given by Brundtland Commission. Then we have C, ecological economies. It was given by Herman Daly. Tragedy of commons. It is G. Harden. According to Coase theorem, which of the following possible outcomes of assigning property rights? Options are, the polluter pays the victim to continue polluting. Yes. The victim pays the polluter to reduce production. That's also one type of bargaining. Then the government must set pollution taxes to ensure efficiency. No. Market outcomes can achieve efficiency even if externalities exist. That is true. The polluter and victim always have equal bargaining power. No, that is not true according to the Coase theorem. Next question is a theory of population of, so these are matching type questions, you can check them out here. Then the question is, in which of the following year the mandate preamble RBI has been amended? So it is 2016. Which of the following is operating target of monetary policy conducted by RBI? So weighted average call money rate. Then the question is, arrange the following crises in chronological order. So first is OPEC crisis. I guess it was in early 90s. International debt crisis. East Asian financial crisis. It was 1999, I guess. Argentinian economic crisis. Then Eurozone crisis. These are the latest one. Next question is, arrange the following derivative markets in India in chronological order, starting from the oldest to latest. D, E, A, C, B. Okay, so these I cannot go through the options, you can check them out here. Then we have arrange the following, so you can see in ascending order as decided in 54th meeting of MPC, that is Monetary Policy Committee of RBI. So reverse repo rate is least. Then we have CRR, then standing deposit facility rate, then MSF, then repo rate. Arrange the following. So items on the basis of expenditure allocations made by the Union Budget 2025-2026 in descending order. So descending order. So defense, then it is education, then it is agriculture and allied sectors, then it is, so you can check out the answers here. Then arrange the following. Government deficit as a percentage of GDP for the year 2023-24. Then these are the arrange the following questions. So then arrange the following countries in descending order based on their current account balance as a percent of GDP in the quarter second of financial year 2025 as per the economic survey. So CBADE. So it is China first, then Russia, then India, then South Africa, then UK. So you can check these questions here. So I will put the mathematical questions also in this video. So let me see, these are the questions related to the Indian economy. Match the following criteria of 15th Finance Commission. So for income, it was being given, income distance, it was being given 45%. For population, 15%. For demographic performance, it was given as 12.5%, and for forest and ecology, it was 10%. Items share to total receipt in percentage in Union Budget 2025. Income tax 22%, custom 4%, corporation tax, it is 17%, union excise it is 5%. So match type questions are solar energy and percentage of total energy production as of November 2024. Solar energy accounts for 20%, hydro accounts only 10%, nuclear accounts for 1.8%, and wind energy is 10%. Then the question is based on the information given below, answer the following questions. 2 fair dice are thrown independently. 3 events A, B and C are defined as follows. A is the event denotes the odd phase with the first die. B is the event shows odd phase with the second die, and C is sum of points on the 2 die is odd. Options are find probability that the sum of the points on the 2 die is odd. Okay, so these are actually 5 questions here. You can see I will put them in this video. Then the question is from the paragraph. You have to pause this video and answer the questions. Rather, answers are being shown here. So the question is, if u is equal to 6x square plus y square and 4x minus y is equal to 1, find the value of u. Options are being given. We need to find out the correct option. Here nothing specific is being told about whether this is a utility function or whether this is a budget constraint, we are only being told that to find out the value of u here. Okay, so how do we solve it? So we have u is equal to 6x square plus y square. Okay, and we have 4x minus y is equal to 1. We are being told to find out the value of u. Okay, it is ambiguous here. There is ambiguity here in the question, so let us try to solve it. Okay, we are not being told whether to minimize it or maximize. So what will we do? We use the substitution method. Okay, what we do, we solve this this constraint for y. So transpose y here, so we'll get y is equal to 4x minus 1. Okay, then what will we do? We plug the value of y into the into this function. So u will be equal to 6x square plus the value of y is y square minus 4x minus 1 square. Solving further, so u will be equal to 6x square plus, so here a minus b whole square, so it is a square minus 4 4s are 16 x square plus b square minus 1 square minus 2 into a, so 2 into 4 is 8 x. Okay, so we have a minus b whole square. You know this thing, it is a square plus b square minus 2 times a into b. In place of a we have 4x, in place of b we have rather we have here 4 and negative 1. After that, what will we do? Solving it further, so u will be equal to, so 6x square plus 16, it is 22x square minus 8x plus 1. Okay, then what we need to do? We need to find out the critical points, whether we have to find out minimum or maximum. For that, first we need to find out the critical points. Okay, so we need to find out the critical points or points. For that, to find out the critical point, what we do? First step is we take the first derivative of this function with respect to x and set it equal to 0. That means du upon dx is equal to, so 2 into 22 is 44, x minus the derivative of x is 1, so we are left with 8, and we set it equal to 0, which implies 44x is equal to 8, or x is equal to 8 upon 44, which is equal to 8 1s are 8, no, 4 2s are 8, 4 1s are 4, so 2 upon 11 will be the value of x. So x is equal to 2 upon 11. Then we need to find out the second condition. So this is first order condition. Second order condition is that we need to find out the sign of the second derivative, that is d square u upon dx square. Okay, so first order condition gives us a point where slope is equal to 0. Second order condition tells us whether we are at the minimum point or maximum point. So we need to take the second derivative. Since this is the first derivative, the derivative of the first derivative is the second derivative. So differentiating again with respect to x, we are left with 44, and derivative of a constant is 0. Since d square u upon dx square, which is the second derivative, which is greater than 0, that means this critical point satisfies the condition for, we know, for if this is the point of maximum, if second derivative came out to be negative, then we have a point of maximum. If second derivative comes out to be positive, so let us say here, so since second derivative is positive, so we get the condition for minimum. Okay, so second derivative determines if the critical point is minimum or maximum. Since second derivative is positive, that means the critical point is minimum. Okay, so we said x is equal to 2 upon 11 is minimum point. Okay, satisfies the condition for minimum. Then we need to find out the value of y. So plug x is equal to 2 upon 11 into this function, so y will be equal to 4, the value of x, which is 2 upon 11 minus 1, so y will be equal to 8 upon 11 minus 1, which is equal to minus 3 upon 11. Okay, now since we are to find out the value of u, so u will be equal to, so u will be a function of x star and y star, so x is 2 upon 11 and y is minus 3 upon 11, which will be equal to, plug these values in this equation, so we get 6 into x square minus 2 upon 11 square plus y square is minus 3 upon 11 square, so we get here 6, 2 2s are 4 upon 11, 11 is 1 to 1, plus because the square of a negative number is positive, so we get 9 upon 1 to 1, we get here 24 upon 1 to 1 plus 9 upon 1 to 1, so we get 33 upon 1 to 1, so both are divisible by 11, so 11 3s are 33, 11 11s are 1 to 1 पे कॉल कीजिए, so 3 upon 11 should be the value of u. Okay, I guess this question is full of ambiguity here, but still if we solve it like this, it makes sense here. Okay, so we get confused for u as the utility function here and this for the budget constraint. If we were to solve it using, that is, let us say, maximize utility 6x square plus y square, so and subject to the budget constraint 4x minus y is equal to 1, so this is not a standard budget constraint because the price of good x is 4, price of good y is negative 1. Okay, so if we are not getting, if we do not get confused u for utility, then we could have solved this question like this. The question is, if mean of x is equal to 32, mean of y is equal to 38, regression coefficient bxy is equal to minus 0.2337 and byx, that is regression coefficient y on x, is given us as minus 0.6643. Find the equation of the line of regression of y on x. Okay, we need to find out the line of regression of y on x. Since we need to find out y on x, and let me write it here, so we need to find out y on x. Okay, so what will be our equation then? That means we have y minus y bar, that is y minus the mean of y, will be equal to, we are being told to find out the equation of regression line of y on x, so our regression coefficient will be byx of x minus mean of x. Okay, solving further, so y minus, so mean of y is being given us as 38, so 38 should be equal to regression coefficient y on x is being given us as y on x, so we need to find out write this one and not this one because it is x on y, so we have minus 0.6643 times x minus the mean of x, that is being given us is 32, which implies y minus 38 will be equal to minus 0.6643, then we have minus to minus is plus, and this number times 32, it will become, and I have calculated it as 21.2576, or y will be equal to minus 0.6643 plus 21.2576. Transpose it here, it becomes positive 38. Or our regression equation of y on x will be equal to minus 0.6643 plus, so we are 38 plus 21, it is 59.2576. This should be the regression equation of, rather a line of regression of y on x. The question is, the data about the sales and advertisement expenditure of a firm is given below. That is, we have the sales and advertisement expenditure with mean sales of 40 and mean advertisement of 6, and standard deviation of the sales is 10 and standard deviation of the advertisement expenditure is 1.5. All figures are in crores. Estimate the likely sales for the proposed advertisement of rupees 10 crore of rupees if the correlation coefficient is 0.9. Okay, we need to find out how much will be the likely sales if we have an advertisement expenditure of 10 crores with the correlation coefficient that is 0.9. Okay, so to estimate the likely sales, we can use the regression equation of sales on advertisement expenditure. So let us say sales is x, advertisement expenditure is y. Okay, so we need to find out the regression coefficient of y on x. Okay, so we use the regression equation of sales on advertisement expenditure. So first thing is we need to find out the regression coefficient byx. So byx is being given by, that is the correlation coefficient times the standard deviation of y upon standard deviation of x. So correlation coefficient is 0.9, standard deviation of y means standard deviation of the advertisement expenditure, which is 1.5. Here we need to find out the standard deviation of Magenta's y on x. The question is, the data about the sales and advertisement expenditure of a firm is given below. We have a firm which has the sales, that mean sales is 40 crores, all figures are in crores, and mean advertisement expenditure for that is 6 crores with the standard deviation of 10 for sales and 1.5 for advertisement expenditure. We need to estimate the likely sales for the proposed advertisement of 10 crore of rupees if the correlation coefficient is 0.9. Okay, now to estimate the likely sales, we can use the regression equation of sales on advertisement expenditure. That means what is the likely sales if the advertisement expenditure is being given as 10 crore. So let us denote sales by x, rather let us denote the advertisement expenditure by x and sales by y. Okay, so we need to find out the regression equation. That is, we need to find out the regression equation, that is y minus y bar should be equal to b yx x minus x bar. Okay, now y bar means the mean. So this is here y bar, this is x bar. Okay, now first we need to find out this byx, that is a regression coefficient y on x. So byx, it is being given by the correlation coefficient times the standard deviation of y upon standard deviation of x. Now standard deviation of x is, so let's denote it by like this, and this is the standard deviation of y. So we have y, standard deviation of y is 10, so we have first correlation coefficient is 0.9, 0.9 times 10 divided by 1.5. Solving this, we will get it as 6. Okay, then we need to find out this equation. Now y minus y bar, that is mean sales, is 40, should be equal to byx, that we calculated as 6, x minus x bar, that is the mean advertisement expenditure, which is 6, that is being given. So we get here y minus 40 is equal to 6x minus 36, or y sorry, 6x minus 36 plus 40, transpose it becomes positive, so y will be equal to 6x plus 4, because minus 36 plus 40 is 4. Now we are being told likely sales for the proposed advertisement expenditure of 10 crore. Since advertisement expenditure is 10, so we have x is 10 here, so likely sales will be equal to 6 into the value of x is 10 plus 40, rather here it is 4, so y will be equal to 6 tens are 60 plus 4, which is equal to 64. That means with an advertisement expenditure of 10 crore, likely sales are 64 crores. The question is, if x is a Poisson variate with mean lambda, then probability of x plus 1 is, we need to find out. Okay, so the probability mass function, that is PMF of Poisson distribution function, that is being given by, that is P of probability of x is equal to e raised power minus lambda times lambda raised power x upon the factorial of x. Okay, now here, since we have to find out the probability of x plus 1, probability of x plus 1, that is probability of x plus 1, so we substitute x with x plus 1, so we will get e raised power minus lambda, then we have lambda raised power, in place of x we have x plus 1, so we have x plus 1 upon, in place of x we have factorial x plus 1, which will be equal to e raised power minus lambda. We can separate it like this, lambda raised power x times lambda divided by, now factorial of x plus 1 can be rewrite it like this, x plus 1 times the factorial of x. That means probability of x plus 1 will be equal to, that will be equal to, so we have e raised power minus lambda times lambda raised power x divided by, let's write this factorial x times we have lambda divided by x plus 1. So can we rewrite it like this, so we have lambda divided by x plus 1, so this is our Poisson distribution, so in place of this can we write probability of x, so this should be the answer to this question, the probability of x plus 1 if x is a Poisson variate. The question is, two fair dice are thrown independently. Three events A, B, C are defined as follows. Event A is the odd face with the first die, event B is odd face with the second die, and event C is denoted by sum of points on the two dice is odd. We need to find out the probability of event C, probability of event A intersection B, probability of event A intersection C, probability of event B intersection C, and probability of event A intersection B intersection C. Okay, so let us take the first one, that is for the sum of, since the C event shows the sum of the points on the two dice is odd, so let us say we have two dice, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, these are the numbers on the first dice. Likewise we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We throw the 2 fair dice independently here. Okay, so we are being told what is the probability that sum of the points on the two dice is odd. Okay, now we also know that sum of two numbers that is odd if one number is odd and another one is even, we get an odd number. Okay, so odd plus even gives us odd. Let us say we have 2 plus 3, 2 is even, or let's write here 3 plus 4. Since 3 is odd, 4 is even, so we will get odd number. Or if we have 4 plus 3, first one is even, second one is odd, again we get odd. So the to get the sum of two numbers as odd, one should be even and another should be odd one. For the sum to be odd, what should happen? That is, the probability of event C is that we should get, this can happen. What is the probability of getting odd number in the first die? So we have 1, 3, 5. We have 3 favorable events. So 3 upon 6 is 1 upon 2. That means probability of getting odd in the first die. So let's denote O is O subscript of 1 is odd on first die. Then we should get in the next die is even numbers 2, 4 and 6 to get a sum equal to odd. So again here we have 3 favorable options. That means we should get even on second, or we will get even on the first die and odd on the second die. That means we need to add the probability of getting even number on the first die and odd number on the second die. Okay, this is not the usual you know what we call notation to write it here. To save the space, I am writing it like this. Now probability of getting odd number on the first die is 1 upon 2, because there are 3 numbers favorable and total sample space is 6. So 3 upon 6 is 1 upon 2 times, since the you know dices are thrown independently, so probability of getting even on the second is again 1 upon 2 plus probability of even number on the first die is again 1 upon 2 times probability of getting odd number in the second die is again 1 upon 2. So we will get here 1 upon 4 plus 1 upon 4, which is equal to 2 upon 4, which is equal to 1 upon 2. Don't get confused. What we are doing here, we need to find out the sum of the points on the two dice is odd. It is only possible if we get odd number in the first and or even number on the second, or we get even on the first and odd on second. That is what I have written here. So probability of C is 1 upon 2. Now we need to find out probability of A intersection B. Probability of A intersection B. Since dice are thrown independently, the probability of both occurring is the product of their individual probabilities. That is, probability of A is times probability of B. Probability of A is being denoted odd face with the first die. So what is the probability of getting odd face in the first die? It is 1 upon 2, because there are 3 numbers favorable and sample space is 6. So we get 3 upon 6, which is 1 upon 2 times probability of B, that is getting odd face in the second die. It is again 1 upon 2, which is equal to 1 upon 4. Okay. Likewise, probability of A intersection C. Now probability of A intersection C, that is probability of getting odd face with the first die times probability of getting what we call the sum of two, the sum of points on the two dice is odd, so it is, we calculated this as 1 upon 2 and probability of A is 1 upon 2. Again we get 1 upon 2 times 1 upon 2, which is equal to 1 upon 4. So it should be 1 upon 4. Then we have probability of B intersection C. Probability of B intersection C. Since the events are independent, probability of getting odd face with second die, so we have probability of B times probability of getting sum of 2 points on the dice is odd. We calculated this. Again we have 1 upon 2 into 1 upon 2, which is equal to 1 upon 4. Okay, now last one is probability of A intersection B intersection C. Now here let us see what exactly it is telling us. It is saying us that the event we get first die is odd, B means the sum of points on the two dice is odd, rather second B denotes the odd face with the second die, and C shows us sum of the points on the two dice is odd. Now odd face, if we get odd face in the first die, odd face in the second die, then is it possible we get sum of the points on the two dice is odd? No, because if we get odd in the first one times odd in the second one, then it is not possible that we will get sum of points on the two dice is odd, because odd plus odd is even. So probability of A intersection B intersection C is 0 here. That means these three events cannot occur simultaneously. Assume that the rate of investment is described by the function, that is investment is a function of time, which is equal to 12 times t raised power 1 upon 3, and capital stock, that is initial capital stock, is 25. We need to find out the time path of the capital stock K. Okay, now we know that the rate of investment is the derivative of the capital stock with respect to time. Okay, to find out the capital stock, what we do, we integrate the investment function with respect to time, that is to find out the time part. So we take the integral of the investment function with respect to t, so we will get 12 t raised power 1 upon 3. Okay, that means k raised power, sorry, time path for capital stock will be equal to, so integrated, so we have, or we can rewrite it like this, 12 t raised power 1 upon 3 with respect to time. Okay, so we have dt and dt here. So we have 12, the integral of t raised power 1 upon 3 is t raised power 1 upon 3 plus 1 divided by 1 upon 3 plus 1. So it will become 1 plus 3 is 4 upon 3. Here we get also 4 upon 3. So we will get t raised power 4 upon 3 divided by 4 upon 3, which is equal to t raised power 4 upon 3. Transpose it here, it becomes 3 upon 4. So we will get 12 times 3 upon 4 t raised power 4 upon 3 plus the constant of integration. Okay, so 4 ones are 4 3s are 12, so we will get here 9 t raised power 4 upon 3 plus the constant of integration. Now to find out the time part, we use the initial condition. We are being told that initially when k naught is equal to 0, we have an investment of 25. So like this into this equation, that means k naught initially will be equal to 9 times, so solve it this function for 0, so we have 9 raised power 0, sorry 9 into 0 raised power 4 upon 3 plus the constant of integration. So we will get k naught, and we know that k naught is equal to 25, so can we write 25 is equal to 0 plus c, that gives us c will be equal to 25. That means the time path for capital stock will be equal to 9 t raised power 4 upon 3 plus the constant of integration, which is 25. 5 is $6 and income of the consumer is $130. We need to find out the consumption optimal bundle, rather optimal consumption bundle in this case. Okay, so this is actually the maximizing concept. We want to maximize the utility of the consumer which is being given by, so we have x plus 2 times y plus 1 subject to the budget constraint. That is what will be the budget constraint. That will be price of x times units of good x plus price of y times the units of good y should be equal to the income of the consumer. Okay, so can we rewrite the utility function as? So let us solve it first. So we have x plus 2 times y plus 1. So can we rewrite it like this? So multiplying first with respect to x, so we have x into y is xy, then we have x into 1 is x, then we have 2y plus 2 ones are 2. So our utility function is xy plus x plus 2y plus 2. Okay, graphically what exactly is meant by this? So let me be within the limit. So you get x on the horizontal axis, good y on the vertical axis with the given budget set. So we have this given budget set, and specifically we are being given, so we have price of x is 4, so we have 4 times x plus price of y is 6, so we have 6 times y should be equal to, we have 130. Okay, so dividing both sides by 2, so we get 3x plus rather 2x. Okay, so dividing both sides by 2, we get 2 2s are 4, here we get 3y is equal to, so here we get 2 6s are 12, then we have 2 5s are 10. Okay, so with the given budget set, consumer want to reach highest possible satisfaction, and optimal bundle will lie at a point where the indifference curve and the budget line are tangent to each other. So at this point what happens, our marginal rate of substitution between good x and y should be equal to the ratio of the prices, price of x upon price of y. So this denotes the slope of the indifference curve, this ratio denotes the slope of the budget line. So MRS, as we know, it is simply the ratio of marginal utility of x, good x, upon marginal utility of good y, and it should be equal to px upon py. Px is 4, py is 6, so we have 4 upon 6. Then marginal utility of good x is simply the change in the magenta. So let me use another color. The change in the total utility due to the change in the consumption of good x, that is marginal utility of good x, divided by marginal utility of good y, means the change in the total utility due to the change in the consumption of good y. 4 upon 6 can be written as 2 upon 3. Okay, which implies du upon dx means the derivative of this function partially with respect to x. Derivative of x is 1, so we are left with y, plus derivative of x in the second term is 1, and derivative of the last two terms is 0 because we are taking the derivative with respect to x, divided by we need to partially differentiate again with respect to y this time. So derivative of y is 1, so we are left with x, plus derivative of x is 0 because we are taking partials with respect to y. Derivative of y is 1, so we are left with 2, and derivative of a constant, we know it is equal to 0, and we equated with the slope of the budget line. Doing cross multiplication here, we have 3y plus 3 is equal to 2x plus 4. Solving for y, so we get 3y is equal to 2x, transpose it here, it gets subtracted, we get 1 only, or y is equal to 2x plus 1 upon 3. Now we plug this value into the budget constraint, so we get 2x plus 3, the value of y is 2x plus 1 upon 3 should be equal to the income of the consumer. 3 and 3 gets cancelled, so we have 2x plus 2x, so we get 4x plus 1 is equal to 65, which gives us 4x is equal to 64. Transpose it here, it gets subtracted. Dividing both sides by 4, x will be equal to 4 1s are 4, even 4 6 are 24. So optimal consumption of good X will be 16. So we have 16 here. What about optimal consumption of good Y? Plug X is equal to 16 into this function. So Y will be equal to, so we have 2 into 16 in place of X. We substituted with 16 plus 1 upon 3. So sharat sharage 32. So we get 32 upon 3, rather 32 plus 1 upon 3. Nah, I am not within the visible range. So we have here 3, here we have 3, that gives us Y will be equal to 33 upon 3, which is equal to 11. That means optimal consumption bundle, that is X star Y star, will be equal to 16 and 11. The question is, given the total cost function is 100 plus 0.015 X square, where X is the output and TC denotes total cost, and total revenue is R is equal to 3 times X. We have to find out the maximum profit. Okay, so what we are being given here, we are being given the total cost function. So we have the total cost function is, that is TC is equal to 100 minus 0.015 X square, and we have the revenue function is, total revenue is 3X. Okay, so for to find out the maximum profit, we know that for a profit maximization condition, we equate the marginal revenue with the marginal cost. So since this is total revenue, marginal revenue will be the derivative of this or with respect to X. So differentiating this with respect to X, derivative of X is 1, so we are left with 3. That is our marginal revenue. And we also need to find out the marginal cost, that is the change in the total cost due to the change in the output. So differentiating this function with respect to X, derivative of a constant is 0, derivative of X square is 2X, so we get here minus, rather it is here plus. Okay, so we get 2 into 0.015, it will become 0.03X. Okay, equating marginal revenue with marginal cost gives us 0.03X should be equal to the okay, we write here the marginal revenue on, or rather marginal cost on this side and marginal revenue here. Okay, which implies 3 upon 100 is equal to, rather 3 upon 100 X is equal to 3. Okay, cancelling 3 on both sides, so we get X is equal to 100. Okay, profit maximizing output is 100, but we are supposed to find out the maximum profit. Plug, or we know that total profit is equal to the total revenue minus the total cost. Total revenue is this 3 into X, so X is 100, so we write 3, or let's write the total cost function, total revenue function first. So 3X, to this we subtract the total cost, which is being given us as 100 plus 0.015 X square. Doing this, we evaluate this profit at X is equal to 3. So here we get 3X minus 100 minus 0.015 X square. To find out the maximum profit, plug X is equal to 100 in this equation. So profit when X is equal to 100 will be equal to, so we have 3 into 100 minus 100 minus, so point, this is 10 to 100 to 1000, we can write 15 upon 1000 into X square means 100 square, so 100 square is 4 zeros, so 1 is 10 is 100,000, 10,000. Okay, so here these 3 zeros gets cancelled, we are left with, here it is 300 minus, then we get 100, here we are left with 15 into 10, which is minus 150. Okay, so profit will be equal to 300 minus 100 is 200, so we have 200 minus 150, which gives us maximum profit will be equal to 50 in this case. Question is to find out the impact on output when the tax increases. The question is, if marginal propensity to consume is equal to 0.8 and tax increases by 100, what is the impact on the output? So we have the marginal propensity to consume is equal to 0.8, change in the tax is equal to 100, and we are supposed to find out the change in the output. Okay, so this is the tax multiplier question, and tax multiplier is being given by minus times MPC upon 1 minus MPC. Okay, tax multiplier shows us the change in the output due to the change in the taxes should be equal to what is MPC. It is minus 0.8 divided by 1 minus 0.8. So we will get here minus 0.8 upon 0.2. So 2 ones are 2 fours are, we get here negative 4. Change in output we are supposed to find out. Change in the taxes is being given as 100 should be equal to negative 4. That means doing cross multiplication, change in the output will be equal to minus 4 times 100. That means output will decrease by 400 units. So del y will be equal to negative 400. So we will say output will decrease by 400 units. Okay, if it was an option in the question. The question is evaluate the integral of x plus 3 upon x plus 5 with respect to x. Okay, so how do we solve this kind of question? So let us write it like this. So we have the integral from x plus 3 divided by x plus 5 dx. Okay, now we cannot solve it directly, so we have to use the integration here. So can we rewrite it like this? We have x plus 3, we need to form x plus 5 in the denominator. So can I add 2 and subtract 2, then divided by x plus 5 dx. Okay, that means we will get here, so we have x here, 2 minus 2 is 0, so adding and subtracting 2 doesn't disturb the given question. So we have x, 3 plus 2 is 5, so we write here x plus 5. Then we have, let us divide it by x plus 5 here. Okay, I am expanding it here, so then we have minus 2 divided by x plus 5, and we need to evaluate it with respect to x here. That means we will get, so this term gets cancelled, so we have the the integral of 1 dx, then we have minus 2, let us take minus 2 common, so we have here 1 divided by x plus 5 dx. Now the integral of 1 with respect to x is simply x, we know it, so it is x. Then we have minus 2, the integral of 1 divided by 1 x plus 5, its integral is log of x plus 5, and we add the constant of integration here. Okay, so we will get x minus twice ln of x plus 5 plus c, which is the constant of integration. So this is how do we evaluate the given question. Is given demand function is p is equal to under root 9 minus x, where p is the price, x is the quantity. We have to find out the consumer surplus when quantity demanded is 5 units. Okay, so this question is about the consumer surplus. So what we are being given here, we have the demand function is p is equal to under root 9 minus x. So we have non-linear demand function, and we need to find out the consumer surplus when quantity demanded is equal to 5. Okay, so since this is the non-linear demand function, we have to use the definite integrals here. Now when x is equal to 5, what will be the price? So p will be equal to 9 minus 5, which is equal to, so in place of x I have substituted it with 5, so it is under root 4, and we know under root 4 is equal to 2. Okay, now graphically what exactly is meant by this? If I draw a simple graph here, so we have the quantity demanded on the horizontal axis, price on the vertical axis. So we have a non-linear demand function like this. Okay, so this is our demand function. We need to find out what will be the consumer surplus. So let us do it like this. we need to find out the consumer surplus when quantity demanded is equal to 5. So when quantity demanded is equal to 5, we need to find out the consumer surplus, and we have the price is 2. Okay, we know that what is consumer surplus. It is simply the difference between the consumer's willingness to pay for a product and the actual price he is paying for a product. Okay, graphically it is simply the area which is below the demand curve and above the equilibrium price. So the area of this shaded portion gives us the consumer surplus. So consumer surplus will be equal to, so consumer surplus is equal to the definite integral from 0 to equilibrium quantity, which is x here, and we we take the integral of demand function, that is p dx. From this we subtract the total expenditure. So we have like this. So from this we subtract the total expenditure, that is p into x. So p is this, x is this. Okay, which means consumer surplus will be equal to, so we need to take the definite integral from 0 to equilibrium quantity is 5, and we differentiate this 9 minus x. So can we rewrite it like this, 9 minus x raised power 1 upon 2, and from this we subtract the total expenditure, which is p into x. Okay, now to solve this integral we need to use the substitution method. Okay, and let me write it here, then I will rub this out. So let us suppose 9, or let me write, let t is equal to this 9 minus x. 9 minus x, okay, differentiate or take the differential on both sides. So derivative of t is dt is equal to derivative of constant is 0, derivative of x is dx. So we get minus dx. Okay, so here we have dx, and let me write it here. With respect to x we are taking the integral here. Now what will we do here? So in place of 9 minus x, so let me rewrite it here. So we have definite integral from 0 to 5. In place of 9 minus x, it is equal to t raised power 1 upon 2, and in place of dx, since dx is equal to dt, that means dx will be equal to, if I multiply both sides by minus 1, so we will get minus dx, or we will get it like this, minus the definite integral from 0 to 5 t raised power 1 upon 2 times dt. Okay, so in place of minus dx we have dt. So we took this minus common here, or out of the definite integral side. Now if I differentiate it, rather if I take the integral of this function with respect to t, what will we get? So we have minus the definite integral, the integral of t raised power 1 upon 2 is t raised power 1 upon 2 plus 1 divided by 1 upon 2 plus 1, and we evaluate it from 0 to 5. Okay, rewriting it, so we will write it minus, so this is t raised power 3 upon 2 divided by 3 upon 2, and we evaluate it from 0 to 5. Okay, so if we further solve it, so 3 upon 2 will become 2 upon 3, and if I take it common, so we get minus 2 upon 3 here, and we integrate it from t raised power, we have t raised power 3 upon 2, and we evaluate it from 0 to 5. Okay, that means consumer surplus will be equal to, we have minus 2 upon 3, and we evaluate this, and we know t is equal to 9 minus x. So we have 9 minus, we evaluate it from upper limit, and then we subtract and evaluate, or let us first write 9 minus x raised power 3 upon 2 from 0 to 5, and we subtract the total expenditure. P into x means p into x means p is 2, x is 5, so we have 2 into 5, which is equal to 10. So here we have 10. Okay, now let me rub this out. So this time the consumer surplus question was a tricky one. That gives us consumer surplus will be equal to, we have minus 2 upon 3, then we evaluate this term at upper limit, then we subtract and evaluate it at lower limit. So upper limit is 5, can we write 9 minus 5 raised power 3 upon 2, then we subtract and evaluate it at lower limit, that is 9 minus 0 this time. So in place of x we have then 0, so 9 minus 0 raised power 3 upon 2. From this we subtract the total expenditure. That gives us consumer surplus will be equal to minus 2 upon 3. 9 minus 5 is 4. So we have 4 raised power 3 upon 2 minus, now here we have 9 minus 0 is 0. So we get 9 raised power 3 upon 2, and we subtract the total expenditure. So consumer surplus will be equal to minus 2 upon 3. Now can we write it as so here we have 4 can be written as 2 square, then we have 3 upon 2, and in place of 9 we can write 3 square raised power 3 upon 2, and we subtract minus, or rather 10. So consumer surplus will be equal to minus 2 upon 3. Here this 2 and 2 gets cancelled, we get 2 to the 4 to the 8, minus here this 2 gets cancelled, so we will get 3 3s are 9, 3s are 27, minus 10. That gives us the consumer surplus will be equal to minus 2 upon 3, subtracting 27 from 8, it is minus 19, then we have minus 10. Our consumer surplus will be equal to, so minus into minus is plus, 2 into 19 is so we get plus 38 upon 3 minus 10. So consumer surplus will be equal to 38 minus 3 tens are 30 upon 3, or consumer surplus will be equal to 38 minus 3 is 8 upon 3. That means which is equal to 3 2s are 6, 7 8, so 2 upon 3. So this will be our consumer surplus. The question is regarding probability. A candidate is selected for an interview for 3 posts. For the first, second and third posts, there are 3, 4 and 2 candidates respectively. Find the probability of getting selected in at least one post. Okay, so we have a person who got selected for interview for 3 posts. Okay, for the first post there are 3 candidates here, or second post there are 4 candidates, for the third post there are 2 candidates. We need to find out the probability that the person is selected for at least one post. Okay, let us denote the event of getting selected for first post by A, for second post by C, and for third post by C. Now the probability of getting selected in the first for the first post, or in this case will be equal to, so since there are 3 candidates, the probability of getting selected in the first post is 1 upon 3. Likewise, probability of getting selected in the second event will be 1 upon 4, and probability of getting selected for third post is, that is probability of C will be equal to, there are 2 candidates, so there are half chances of getting selected. Now to find out that the person gets selected in at least one post, how do we find out this? So we need to find out probability of getting selected in at least one post. It is being done by 1 minus the probability of getting selected in none of the posts. Okay, to find out the probability of getting selected in at least one post, we find out it by subtracting the probability of getting selected in not any of the posts from 1. Okay, now what is the probability of not getting selected? in the event A, so let us denote it by P A prime, which will be equal to 1 minus the probability of getting selected. Probability of getting selected is 1 upon 3, so here we get 2 upon 3. Probability of not getting selected in the second post, it will be equal to 1 minus the probability of getting selected, which is 1 upon 4. So here we get 3 upon 4. Probability of not getting selected in the third post will be equal to 1 minus the probability of getting selected. So it comes out to be 1 upon 2. Okay. So we will get here 1 minus probability of A prime intersection or complement B intersection C complement. Why? Complement rather. Here the events are independent, that means we need to multiply them. That means probability of getting at least selected in one post will be equal to 1 minus probability of A complement times probability of B complement times probability of C complement, which will be equal to 1 minus, so here we have 2 upon 3, so we have 2 upon 3 into 3 upon 4 into 1 upon 2, so 3 and 3 and 2 and 2 gets cancelled, we get 1 minus 1 upon 4, that is equal to 3 upon 4. That is the probability of getting selected in at least for one post is 3 upon 4. Question is, out of 40 students in a class, 25 know Hindi, 20 know both Hindi and Urdu, and every student knows at least one. Find the number of students who know only Urdu. Okay, so total number of students is 40. Okay, so we have total students is 40 and 25 know Hindi. So can we write the number of students who know Hindi or Urdu, okay, will be equal to 40. Since every student knows at least one language, therefore number of students who know Hindi or English will be equal to 40 here. We are also being told that the number of students who know only Hindi is equal to 25 and 20 students know both Hindi and Urdu. That means number of students who know Hindi and Urdu is equal to 20. Okay, using the principle of inclusion or exclusion, we know that N H union U will be equal to NA plus NB NU. Here we have NH. It shows the total number of students in the class will be equal to the total number of students who know Hindi plus total number of the students who know Urdu minus the total number of students who know both languages, Hindi and Urdu. Okay, this is being given us as 40, so we write here 40 is equal to number of students who know Hindi is 25, number of students who know Urdu we are supposed to find out, and the number of students who know both Hindi and Urdu, it is being given as 20. Okay, so 40 is equal to 25 minus 20 is 5 plus N U, that means number of students who know only Urdu will be equal to 40 minus 5, which is equal to 35.